Ooh. Oh. It's like, wait a minute.
Yep, here's your job. I need the updated stream key. Fuck. Sorry.
That would be great if we were like live right now.
Huh. Would it?
Yeah, it would. I think so. I think it would endear people to us. Just saying.
Okay. Yes. Alrighty.
Oh, watch live now on YouTube. Oh. Well, wait a minute. Let's check that out.
Yeah, here we are over here too.
Oh my.
So many places.
Oh wow. Well, you know what that means. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Evan and Aaron Show presents the Red and the Blue Soccer Chat. These are your boys who are here for you, ladies and gentlemen. This is Aaron representing Manchester United, and this is your boy Evan representing the Blues. Not so blue as we were a week or two ago of the Chelsea Football Club. Man, I tell you, this has been wonderful. This has been great. I've enjoyed the chance to kind of catch up on life a little bit, but man, I have missed this. I really have missed this. My friend, how you be, bro? How you be?
Yeah, man, it's been a minute. I've totally missed it. I went on vacation and took a break from all the other bullshit that's been going on in my life, so that was nice. Really would have enjoyed.
I'm not sure we're live on the Facey Face.
Yeah.
Are we live on the Facey Face?
Oh yeah, there we are. Yeah, we're right there.
Oh, okay.
Look at us go.
You know what? That's okay, because my stuff, hey, it doesn't matter. That's fine. It'll do its thing whenever it wants to do its thing.
I think we're there.
But anyway, you've had a lot of stuff going on, bro.
A lot of stuff going on, but it's nice to be back. Let's just jump right in. Elephant in the room. Big news is about. And here's the thing. It's a big deal. It's a big deal, and here's why. Because Alessia Russo scored her first hat trick for the Manchester United women's team.
They had 2 hat tricks.
It was 5-1 against Leicester City.
5-1. Okay. Well,
but big shout out to Alessia after the Euro. Yeah, the Euro last year. She came on and had a good tournament as well, so that was nice to see.
She needed that.
But yeah, all joking aside, obviously the big news is the incredible, humiliating 7-0 loss away to Liverpool at Anfield. Apparently, we're all going to blame Wout Weghorst for touching the "This is Anfield" sign.
No, that was stupid.
No, here's the thing. I don't think it's worth dwelling on a lot.
Right.
I wish we could do this podcast tomorrow night, because
that's true.
Tomorrow's game is going to tell us a lot. It's a home game, which means they have to bring in response, right? They got to show out to the fans, and they really need a victory. They need to set a tone, both for themselves and for this particular cup they're chasing. The Europa is definitely winnable for them. Real Betis did tie or draw with Real Madrid at the weekend, I believe.
Yep.
But I'm not going to get caught up on this one particular individual result. They'd been playing very, very well. They were unbeaten in quite a few matches. Let's see here. Do I have? think they were unbeaten in like maybe 9 or something like that, going back to that Arsenal match. Which,
oh, really?
Which, great for Arsenal. That was a good win. That's what champions do. I don't have any issue with it. I'm disappointed.
Yep.
But again, United played well in that match and went on a stretch of runs, or a stretch, some wins. They drew with Leeds, then turned around and beat Leeds.
Right.
They have advanced in the FA Cup. They had won the Carabao Cup over Newcastle. It was honestly quite easy. It was a bit of a stroll as far as I'm concerned. And then Barcelona, the comeback win there. I was sitting in a beach bar in Florida watching that match, and it was quite enjoyable.
I love you and I hate you at the same time. But then I always come back to love you.
Right.
I just do.
Those are those great European nights. It was a fantastic win. I think I'm not going to make excuses. You could say maybe they've had too many games to play, that they've expended a lot of emotional capital, winning, some cup games, winning the Carabao Cup. That's a big deal. It's the first trophy in a while. And then the Europa over Barcelona, a comeback win.
Right.
Yada, yada. The reality is, for 43 minutes, Manchester United were probably the better side against Liverpool.
Mm-hmm.
They scored a great counterattack goal, tremendous through ball, really caught everybody out. Really exposed Diogo Dalot's 1v1 defending skills. I think most United fans, in recent matches, the team score first against United. It's usually a bad thing. United usually come back and win 2-3-1,
right,
and really get after you. This time, we didn't see that response after halftime, and within like 5-10 minutes, it was 3-0, and effectively match over.
Yeah.
What came next is the disappointing part. Heads down.
Yes.
People, really looking disjointed, not knowing what to do. No real leadership. Bruno does have to take some criticism for this.
Yeah.
At the same time, let's keep this in perspective. It's one match. It will not and should not define the season for either club.
I wouldn't
Liverpool,
think so.
That's a great victory, but if you turn around and play like trash against some, bottom-feeding Premier League team again this weekend, as they have done a few times, is that what you hang your hat on at the end of the season? And for United, there's so much more to play for. They are legit still in 4-3 competitions. They could win 4 trophies. Probably not going to happen, but the fact that they're in them, they need to dust themselves down. I hope, Ten Hag, I assure you, chewed their asses out and made them come in early on Monday.
Absolutely.
But from that point forward, I hope Bruno and Harry and a lot of the senior leadership of this team took it upon themselves to say, we weren't good enough collectively, we weren't good enough individually, and this is what it's going to take to start and rebuild that faith amongst the fans. So tomorrow's huge.
So, dude, I absolutely 100% agree with everything that you said right there. I think that there was some revealing holes in the defense. There were some revealing, just like as far as whenever Bruno isn't necessarily being supported by everyone out on the field, like the things that he's trying to do all by himself. When things aren't right with any team. They can go south really quick. Yeah. And I think that this is what exactly happened to United. It was the perfect storm, right?
Yes.
It was at Anfield. They had looked kind of bad up until that point. Yes, they had just won a game, a match, but they had not looked good. No. Coming into that match, everybody gets hyped up. It is literally the equivalent of the I don't know, the Browns and Steelers, the Packers and the Cowboys.
It does not matter where either team is.
Doesn't matter.
It's a massive rivalry, and you get up for it.
Absolutely.
And United were up for it in the first half and really capitulated. But I've been a part of those games where you think everything's going fine.
Yep.
One or two things go wrong, and then all of a sudden you are getting shellacked, and you kind of freeze up a little bit. And they're professionals playing for the biggest club in the world, or one of the biggest clubs in the world, and you say that shouldn't happen. It does sometimes.
It does.
This is a work in progress. There's still a lot of youth. There's still a lot of young people out there.
Yes.
And I, guys are going to have to look at themselves. Anthony has to look at himself and ask, what was I failing to do?
Yeah.
How do I get my mentality better?
Yep.
Marcus didn't have a great day, but he was starved of service.
Rashford had a really he had an opportunity. He had a decent touch, but I think that the keeper came out.
Closed him quick.
And closed it quick. I think that was just a good play on a keeper's part.
Right.
I think it could have been a better touch, but my God, Rashford had two guys on the side of him, both sides of him, and he's literally given himself a chance to shoot.
Had opportunities to score.
Yeah, I just think this is an anomaly. This is one of those that, like I said, it is the perfect storm that happened to United. If this was played at Old Trafford. I'm telling you, man, it would have been a different outcome because the home field advantage, not only people living in the U.S., matters in football, but it matters in football and soccer. It matters so much more, especially the rivalry like that, man.
Well, look, Anfield is one of the cathedrals of sport, and their crowd is one of the best.
Are they?
Look.
Are they?
Television broadcasts make sure they cut back from commercial early, so you catch the end of "You'll Never Walk Alone" as they walk those players out. Look, all jokes aside, they sing a really incredibly terrible song about Manchester United. Manchester United fans sing a pretty terrible song about Liverpool too.
That is true. That's very
There's
true.
ugliness in the fandom.
Yeah.
But the reality is that they support their team, win or lose. They are there for them.
Yeah.
They have a wonderful relationship with Klopp as a manager, and they're behind their team, even probably expecting to not get a great result in that match.
Yeah.
And what's going to be needed tomorrow is the same thing from Manchester United fans saying, "You let us down, but we still support you."
Yeah.
And there's still so much to play for, right? That wasn't a cup final.
No. That was, once again, like I said, that is a match in the middle of the toward the end of the Premier League season. And the fact is that Liverpool's fighting for their life. Mm-hmm. They're trying, to get into the Champions League next year. They're 2 points behind Tottenham now. It's interesting how everything just fell into place for them to play out of their minds against United. And the fact is, congrats Mo Salah, leading scorer for Liverpool now of all time. Great, good on you. I don't see this doing anything to United other than pissing them off and really igniting them to go into this last leg of the season just fired up, saying, okay, you know what, we took our shellacking. We're not going to let that happen again.
Yeah, I mean, look, United have played more games than just about anybody since the World Cup break.
I think you guys have 2 in hand on us.
That's a testament to the success that they are having. They could be out of several competitions, but they are not. But I mean, I'm counting right now since our last show, and I'm pretty sure they had already played at least one game. So they played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. In February. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in March.
Wow.
And they're stopping because there's a break. There's another week in March that they could have. So they're essentially playing every 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
Which, as a player, if you're feeling strong and healthy, it's great.
That's one thing.
But at some point, it takes its toll.
Yep.
And we will see. We've got Real Betis at home. And then, get a good result there. And then you've got Southampton at home, which could be a banana peel, but it could be an opportunity to say, fuck you.
Yeah, right.
We are going to show you what we can really do.
Yes.
Then you turn around and play Betis again. And then you finish out the month against Fulham. Again, could be a bit of a banana peel.
Right.
But I'm telling you, this is what you want as a player, is to be able to turn around, get a game in quick. It's like missing a penalty kick.
Sure.
If I miss a penalty kick, I want somebody to get fouled in the next 5 minutes and be like, nope, that motherfucker's mine.
Yeah.
So
no, you know what? And the interesting thing about your guys' schedule coming up, there is only one Premier League game.
Right.
Which it's like, you got to look at Southampton for that one. And you're like, okay, with Southampton, I think we can get that so you can stay on par. And you guys get to sit back and watch everyone else. You get to sit back and watch the Tottenhams kind of fade away. You get to sit back and watch Arsenal and City kind of go at each other.
You get to go into the game knowing exactly what kind of result you have. And sometimes the whole, well, we don't need to get a win kind of thing can hurt you. But I do think it's nice to be able to go into a match and not have some of that pressure sometimes.
Yeah.
And United are firmly in third place right now. Good distance between themselves and fourth place Tottenham, I believe.
I think there's 6 points, 7 points maybe.
So, I don't want to get lackadaisical, but I'm saying they've put themselves in a good position.
Yeah.
They can weather this hopeful blip.
Yep.
They've got other competitions to play in to take their minds off things and have a different mindset as you approach it.
Sure.
Right? Cup competition is different than a Premier League match.
Very much so.
And I think it will help them get right. So all I'm going to say is go United for tomorrow, and we'll let the chips where they lie. Let's get a performance. So,
where are you watching that match?
That's a good question.
I mean, we can discuss that later.
We can discuss that later. I think it may be at a Chatham Tap.
There
perhaps
you go.
not this Chatham Tap.
That's right. It may be at a Butler. I mean,
it could be. It could very well be. So we'll let you know. I want to transition here.
Yes.
This was. It was interesting to watch what's been going on with Chelsea and the criticism, and absolutely. Look, I think what's been positive through what was, since our last show, a 1-1 draw away to West Ham. Not the worst result, but again, not a great performance.
No.
Lost 1-0 away to Borussia Dortmund in a game that wasn't honestly great for either club. I didn't think it was managed all that well.
Right.
1-0 at home to Southampton is a poor result. Obviously, losing a London derby to Spurs away, 2-0. But the 1-0 win against Leeds. But
I've got something to say. About that.
Sometimes you need the win, right? More than you need the performance.
Right.
But I would say that there were a lot of positives to take away from yesterday's match against Borussia Dortmund. Still was not a 100% full 90 performance, but after a March that included a draw followed by 3 just
lackluster, uninspired performances.
What's going on here? To be where you are now, how are you feeling? What's your mood, and what do you feel about Graham Potter at this point?
I still stick with Graham Potter. I've said this throughout our podcast, and I'm going to keep saying it, guys. Look, this is about the time with Brighton that Graham Potter started to. You started to see the guys gel. You started to see them come together. Graham Potter took some time. Brighton was not good. They just were not good. Potter got them into a place where they actually could compete. And I think that with this squad that they have with Chelsea, it's a lot different than Brighton. Brighton takes a longer time to get to that point.
Sure.
Chelsea, I think you're starting to see glimpses. Now, I say that, Blues fans, with incredible hesitation and caution, because at the beginning of the season, and I'm going to do the Kurt Angle type thing for those of you who are WWE fans, I said this was going to be a season where we just have to get used to incredible highs and incredible lows. Yep. And you know what? A 2-0 win against Borussia Dortmund at Stamford, whenever we've been playing like this, is an incredible high for us this season.
Yeah.
We got to put it into perspective. So I want to give a shout out to somebody I've been incredibly hard on, Kai Havertz. He put up yesterday, and you know what? And he played hard. He was aggressive toward the ball. Dortmund gave us a gift on the penalty kick. You know, and yes, I get it. It's cheap. I get it. But at this point, you have to know that you have to know the rules, dude. There are so many players in the world that does the hesitation type thing. Don't at me about Kai Havertz and his hesitation thing. You know, it's no. I'm sorry. Don't do that. It's a nature of the game. You have to watch and you have to be ready for that. But I want to give him a shout out.
Yeah,
Kai Havertz. Number 2, Ben Chilwell. Ben Chilwell has been one of the most solid forces, because I'm still not convinced that Reece is 100%. I think Chilwell has said, okay, until we can get Reece 100%, I'm going to take up some of the slack. That's why they've been attacking a lot up the left, is because, you know, Chilwell has been like, it's almost as if he's saying, give me the ball. He had, you know, not a good strike on a, you know, the first time type deal, but he has been playing lights out, and I really appreciate that about him. The third person is a dual person, which, you know, doesn't make sense. 2 people. Koulibaly and Kepa.
Okay.
I saw them yesterday have a rapport that said something. That literally, it felt like Kepa could depend on Koulibaly, and that Koulibaly had faith in Kepa. And I think that when you see that, it almost reminds you of, I don't know. Reminds you of a Thiago Silva.
Is he injured?
Yeah, he's injured.
Okay.
But it reminds you of a Thiago Silva type relationship back there, to where, you know, as a keeper, where you're deficient, Silva's got you. It's like Koulibaly finally showed up, and he maintained some presence back there. And then the last shout out I will give, and this is just because he played really, really well. Sterling, he was off with his touches. But here's the thing that we need as a team. We need that stick-to-itness in order to just get through this time. And that goal that he had was indicative of what we need right now. You know what? You whiff at the first shot. Okay, we get it. But you stick with it. And then when the opportunity presents itself, drive it home, and he did that. So those are my shout-outs to the Blues. What did you see, my friend, with Chelsea these past couple of weeks?
Well, one thing I do want to piggyback on is that Kepa is a pretty nice redemption story right now.
Yes.
I think here's somebody who found himself in the wilderness, and largely because of his own antics. His attitude and the way he played made him droppable. And obviously Mendy had been playing at a very, very high level.
Yeah.
And I think some of the issues that he went through kind of gave Kepa that opportunity to step back in, and Kepa has really taken it. He made 1 or 2 saves in that match that I was really amazed by.
Yeah.
Honestly, I thought...
He can ball when he wants to.
Please accept this in the manner I'm taking it. It's typically the save I only see David De Gea make. Every once in a while, De Gea just pulls something out.
Absolutely, we'll take that.
And you're like, wow. So
that's awesome.
I think Kepa has made a couple saves, and his presence has been really, really impressive. I think Borussia Dortmund's going to be pretty disappointed. Like, Jude Bellingham's going to be really mad about not putting away that side footer.
He did not play well.
Yeah, but he had that easy side volley,
it was right there.
and really should have. And it didn't go. But what I've seen in the last few games is that you're beginning to see, I won't call it Potter ball. I'm kind of sick of this, like adding ball to just the manager's name, like Watergate and shit like that.
Yeah, it's like wait,
no,
what?
No, because it's about just more than a manager saying do this, do that. It's about the players buying into a system and making it their own.
Yes.
Right. Showing how they can expand. But you saw some really nice glimpses in the match yesterday of build-up play. I thought right side there were times Reece James really linked up in ways that were super impressive.
Absolutely.
You know what? We're just going to go ahead and do this and can continue.
Well, and I wanted to piggyback on that real quick. Mateo Kovacic, my guy. I'm telling you, that was a great choice.
He has stepped up.
Great choice for captain.
He has stepped up. So, real quick, it is halftime here. We'll get back to the Chelsea chat in just a second. But the ladies of Chatham Tap Fishers are here to join us once again. And this is our time to tell you that they will be opening at Saturday and Sunday at 9:30. And they will be serving the Yum breakfast.
Yummy.
One or both will probably be here each day.
Yep.
So, treat them nice, tip well. And
cheers.
Enjoy your time at Chatham Tap Fishers.
Yes,
cheers.
Absolutely. Cheers. Oh my, I love halftime shots.
Thank you, ladies.
Love halftime.
Awesome. Thank you.
Halftime shots taste different. Like they hit different. Don't they?
They do.
They just hit. I think
absolutely.
I think you know what they deserve it. Yes. Thank you guys. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Yes. So, back to Chelsea. I think what I'm beginning to see some patterns of play develop. Some concepts. I still don't think we've seen long periods of sustained possession where they're, I thought they started out better against Dortmund yesterday. But there were long stretches in that second half where you kind of felt like Dortmund might be getting a goal back, and then it was going to be a bit of a heavy finish. But
this is why I said I really do think Koulibaly and Kepa are forming that just kind of
you've got to have your spine. You've got to have your spine,
Yes.
and I think again Chelsea had one of the best defensive midfielders on the planet in the game, and he's been out for a long time. And you just don't run out and sign another dude and replace that. So they've had to kind of platoon the position. Conor Gallagher's not quite the answer.
He's looking decent though.
But I do like Enzo. He's been really nice. Specifically, you can play him the ball under pressure with his facing his own goal in a way that, let's face it, you don't want Fred doing that. That's what was getting us in trouble this time last year. You've got a player that can do that.
Sure.
Conte could obviously do that.
Right.
I think Kovacic isn't quite that player, but he brings other things to that central midfield position, and you start unlocking guys. Much like United, work in progress.
Yeah.
But you see.
Yeah.
You see the buildup. You see the positives that are happening. And let's go back here and look at what you've got coming up, because that really gives you some breathing room. You'll find out who your next opponent is, I'm assuming on Friday during the draw.
Yep.
But you've only got 2 more matches in March, which is nice because you can rest some guys.
Exactly.
You can make sure Reece is getting back to 100%.
Yes.
Leicester City away could be tricky, but honestly, they're not playing all that great right now. And then this couldn't be a better time to play Everton, especially at home.
Well, right. But once again, there's true banana peels here on both schedules here. I think that Everton is possibly more of a banana peel.
Sean Dyche is going to show up with some attitude, for sure.
Yes, absolutely. But you're right. I'm not sure I would want a different 2-team schedule than what we have coming up for us right there.
Yeah.
I think that it presents itself as an opportunity for us to continue to build. And once again, I have to continue shouting out the fact that Mateo Kovacic it was almost like he calmed everyone down. Like he calmed the midfield. Like, it was interesting because Kovacic at certain times really did try to run it kind of like Bruno does. Bruno's like, hey, give me the ball. I'll distribute it. Give me the ball. I'll distribute it. Kovacic really took the ball and distributed it down the field and got out of some really tight situations at times. I was impressed with that. I really was. here's my fear. Not a fear, but I'm just wondering, what is Potter going to do with Mudryk? Because here's the deal. I'm not sure I would touch this lineup right now. I would try and solidify these guys because it feels like you've got a good team. How do you work Mudryk in there to utilize him to enhance what's happening rather than these guys having to figure out, okay, how do I play with this guy?
Well, I think this speaks to Graham Potter's larger problem, and that is he's got 35 senior players in training.
Yes.
It's absurd. He needs help. There's no possible way with any number of assistant coaches and drills that you're doing that you can effectively manage and coach that many players.
Yeah.
So I think that's got to be a huge thing in the offseason.
Yep.
But, you know, at this point, I think you just got to keep putting guys on the field and giving them an opportunity and see if they can fit in. Mudryk's a midseason signing. He's still adjusting to this league. He's adjusting to this team.
Yes.
And this is a team that's adjusting to itself.
Absolutely.
So, you know, I think you continue to give him his minutes.
Yep.
You know, you mentioned Mudryk, and I was having this thought earlier today and had to looking up. Broha is just no longer even in the mix. Has not played since December. He's not injured.
No.
A lot of teams are looking to come in for him, but I think this is the issue: is when you've got a lot too many players, guys start sort of floating to the fringe a little bit, right? Like I think sometimes if you've got not a bare bones squad, but a thinner squad, just 23, 24 guys to choose from.
It kind of helps a little bit.
It helps. You know who. You know.
Yes.
Look, let's face it. If everybody's healthy, you have no problem right now selecting Manchester United's starting 11.
No.
It's pretty obvious who that would be if you had everybody healthy who you want to have on the field.
Yep.
And even right now, with the handful of injuries that we've got, that makes it all the more clear as to who's going to be starting in certain matches.
Right.
Chelsea, you're probably 6 months behind us in the same development thing.
Yes.
This has been a theme,
Absolutely.
I think, over the last few months, throughout this season, is that you've got to give a manager time, and it would appear Todd Bowley's going to do that with Graham Potter. I mean, he might have already been fired under Roman.
Yeah.
But here was Todd Bowley in the tunnel after the game, holding a beer and hugging Graham Potter.
Yeah.
That's great.
It is.
Really
it
great.
Is. Todd Bowley, great. Hey, how you doing, sir? Good.
What's up,
Good.
Gustavo in the
I
house.
appreciate
Gustavo on la casa.
Yes. I still, once again, I'm glad he stopped, going on Twitter so much. And I still think he's kind of a tool, but he's given it time.
He's your tool.
I know, he is. But he's given it time, and I'm kind of like, okay, yes, that's good. Don't make any hasty moves. Once again, I am telling you, I have a feeling that Graham Potter can rise to the occasion and make this club different. But here is the big thing I wanted to mention. Oh, no. What have we done?
No.
Oh, okay. We're good. Here's the thing I wanted to mention, and that is the fan base has to evolve.
Yes.
We are, and this is the reputation that Chelsea has. Chelsea is notoriously ruthless whenever it comes to players and managers, and just constantly switching people up. And it's like, no, the fan base has to change. We have to realize that this is going to take time. I'm not talking like Cleveland Browns time,
right?
But I am talking, we've got to realize that, Manchester United has done it the right way. Several clubs have done it the right way. It's been that, hey, we're going to go through a slog for about 6-9 months or a year.
We're live editing YouTube. Deal with it.
There you go. We're live editing. But while we do that, the interesting piece is that I see Todd Bowley embracing Graham Potter. I see the players. Kai Havertz, in an interview, said, you know what? I don't know why everybody's talking about, Graham Potter. We are all behind him.
Yeah. And that's great.
And it's starting to show. The fan base has to get off of Potter's nuts, man. They have to just give him some space and say, you know what, look, we're not going to compete for the Premier League trophy this year. We're not going to compete for the Champions League, for the Europa. We're not this year, and that's okay. What we need to be focused on is we need to be focused on growth, and we need to be focused on performance. And that performance is starting to gradually go up, and we're starting to see guys learn to play football together. That's the key.
Well, you've got a fan base that got used to somebody chopping and changing a lot.
Sure.
Cutting managers in a hurry. Yep. And he had managers that, by and large, were 2 to 4 year project guys to begin with.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to keep Jose around for several years. You don't want to keep Conte around for several years, right? So, but it's a new era.
Yes.
And I think, you know, Todd Bowley came in, and we'll see if the long-term decision to get rid of Tuchel at that point and bring in a guy like Graham Potter is going to be successful. But what I do like is he said, this is my guy. We're going to weather this storm.
Yes.
And I at this point, I think he's got to the end of the season no matter what happens.
True.
You're not going to get top 4, so he's not going to get in trouble for not getting top 4.
Right.
That has gone. The question is, how do you run in? Do you get yourselves into the fifth place spot, maybe get you a Europa League?
Maybe.
Do you have a deep run in this Champions League and give yourselves an opportunity? Because let's face it, you know, I've read. Shout out to Travis and the what is it called?
Oh, Wait, the Indie Blues.
Indie Blues blog. It is Travis Balanced Blue Pod.
The Crossroads. _ CFC.
Shout out Balanced Blues Brothers podcast.
There you go.
And he had some good points. Now I've forgotten them.
Oh, well. No.
But I think I was saying that, you know, you've got to give this manager time.
Yes.
Todd Bowley's got a different mentality and approach to things. You support them. And I think even if they'd have lost yesterday against Dortmund, he would not have lost his job. I think he's going to say, you've got it till the end of the season. Then we're going to sit down and discuss what kind of players you want to bring in, what kind of budget we have.
Yeah.
And let's face it, you need to get rid of some players. Much like United did last season.
Yes.
You need to get rid of some players.
Absolutely.
So I think you're in a good spot, though.
I do too. I think that Chelsea now needs, long tenured manager. We need Sir Alex Ferguson's. We need. I mean,
those don't grow on trees.
I know they don't. But we need to give that long tenure to someone who is showing that, you know what? Hey, this very well could work.
Well, and maybe he lays the groundwork. You know, the problem United have had over the last decade is very little groundwork gets laid.
Yeah.
You know, it's been short-termers as well with very little success.
And please don't think that I'm not insulting you. I'm not saying Graham Potter is a Sir Alex Ferguson.
This was the point I wanted to make, and that is, right now, Chelsea have put themselves in an interesting position when it comes to the Champions League.
Yeah.
Because outside of teams like City and Madrid, I do think they can play with just about anybody right now, and it will take some good performances.
Sure.
But I think I'd fancy Chelsea against AC Milan right now.
I would think so. I think that
it's not. There's no despair
against Tottenham, right?
Yes.
They beat Tottenham, or not beat them, but it was a 0-0.
It was 0-0 today. They carried through on the 1-0 aggregate.
Okay.
Tottenham had a guy sent off late for a really, really stupid challenge, and he should be getting his ass chewed out still for it.
So what's interesting about this is that, yes, I think, it's going to be between City and Madrid, depending on the draw. It may be City and Madrid going against each other.
Right. We may get
hey, that would be great. That'd be wonderful. But Chelsea really can be the comeback story of the year. I think if they finish, if they finish 7th, 6th, or 5th.
Well, think about when you won the Champions League most recently.
Well, yeah.
That was
in the middle of.
It was a crazy season. You got rid of Frank. You brought in Tuchel.
Right here.
And
this is it.
And I can't remember where you finished in the league, but you weren't really challenging for the title.
It was 5th because we were eligible for it this year.
So, you get these situations where...
Or 4th.
Okay, maybe we're not playing at our best, but we're building momentum.
Yes.
Look, people had big question marks about Manchester United in the first part of the season.
Oh, man.
And even as they began to build up some results, there was still the question mark, can we trust this side? Now we've had this long run of games, Liverpool match aside, but we've had this long run of games where you're like, wow, this team is playing for each other.
Yes.
And you could see them make a deep run in the Europa, much the same way. I think Chelsea might be a little early, but again, a favorable draw. You don't see City or Real Madrid until late on.
Yep.
Then take your chances. And if you end up this season losing in the semifinals of the Champions League to somebody, I think you're okay with that.
If we lose on aggregate like 2-1, 3-1, 1-0, what? To either City or Madrid, I think that we
truly to anybody at this point though, even if the performances are
anybody, even if the performances are solid, I think that's a lot to build on. And the wonderful thing about Chelsea right now is that, guys, listen, through the months of December and January and February, it has truly been the definition of a slog. It has been like, oh my God.
Absolutely.
I need to sit in front of this TV for the next 2+ hours and watch our team get owned. I don't feel that anymore.
No.
I don't feel that anymore. I feel excitement about watching them. I don't know how many other folks, in London, around the world, I don't know. But if you're not feeling this, excitement to actually be like, okay, I'm going to go watch Chelsea at my local pub with my boys, with my friends, whatever. If you're not feeling that, then I've got a question. Have you been watching and really taking note of what's going on, within the Chelsea locker room?
Right.
Because I feel a lot of people, and here's the thing, I think that Azpilicueta, and I think that Silva, I think they're in the ear of these guys. I think that they are providing that off the pitch kind of motivation. Say, hey guys, look, we're not able to play right now, and so you know what? You need to go out there and you need to do this thing because we're Chelsea, and I feel the guys playing for. I really do. I feel them playing for the badge, dude, and that's what you want. When United gets out on the field, I don't know when they score goals. I don't know how many times I've seen this.
Well, and like how happy they are. Everyone celebrates.
They do this.
Everyone celebrates. They are together. So that's why I'm not that concerned, and that's why we've talked a lot about fandom this season and what it means to be a fan and back your team and to rationally criticize but still support. And I think this is the payoff. The payoff is finally believing that, okay, you know what? These guys have come together.
Yeah.
These guys do represent what I think the best of our clubs can be.
Yep.
Is there more to come? Gosh, I hope so.
Yes.
But if this is the upward trajectory for both of these clubs, the sky's the limit.
It's going to be great, man. It's going to be great. So I have one little thing to ask you about. I got to tell you, our boy Gio Reyna, he got in a little late in the Chelsea match, but looked good. Still was able to make some plays. How do you feel about his play right now, man?
There's a lot of people who've been concerned about the fact that he's been largely a sub coming off the bench, but he's also been playing well in those moments. And let's not forget, this is how Christian Pulisic got to Chelsea.
There you
was by being a super sub that came on for Dortmund under Klopp and other managers for 25, 30 minutes at a time, used that pace, used the trickery that they have, and have blossomed into other players. Now, Christian's got some injury troubles.
Sure.
I think Gio does too.
Well, it's nice to see. Just side note, like nice to see Pulisic get some minutes. But anyway,
Absolutely. So, from a U.S. national team perspective, I thought it was nice to see Christian back on the field. You know, at that point in the game, didn't have a lot to offer and do. Had I think one or two nice, just kind of interchanges and created an opportunity. I think across the six that nobody got on the end of. I thought Gio played well. So, the thing is for these upcoming matches, I don't think we're going to see foreign-based players coming in. I think we're going to see, the MLS has just kicked off. As long as their calendar is in sync, I think we're going to see guys like that. I really just don't see a whole lot of foreign-based guys coming in.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. They are, those. I think they're what, CONCACAF.
Yeah, I think so.
Nation League games or something like that. Where's my Excel spreadsheet?
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, the CONCACAF Nations League. So, and here's the thing.
Excellent.
It's Grenada away and El Salvador at home. So we should be able to go there with a B or a C squad. But the way we've played lately, what happened at the end of the World Cup, the fact that we've got an interim manager and a lot of question marks over players, I think we do need to have some good performances here.
Yes,
I will be tuning into those matches. But I would be pretty surprised to see a Europe-heavy roster, especially with guys like Pulisic who's coming back. If I were Graham Potter, I'd be like, dude, it's Grenada and El Salvador. Can you just stay here and train?
Exactly. And plus with the automatic bid, I mean, it's like, yes, you want your guys. Right now, you don't necessarily have to have your guys there. It's like, hey, let's give the young guys some chances.
Let's build up that next generation too, because we know Weston, Tyler,
Puli,
Serginho,
Reyna.
Pulisic, Reyna, Weah. We know these guys are going to be around. But knock on wood, barring some sort of injuries, which could always happen, but on just who they are as players, you're probably already picking half a roster for the next World Cup.
Yes.
But let's identify these guys that, let's get, Pepe back in for some more opportunities.
Let's give him a shot.
Well. Let's look at Hoppy, who's playing well. Let's look at Cameron Carter-Vickers.
Does Aronson decide, hey, you know what? Maybe if, McKinney and, if you guys can stay here, maybe I can get some reps for the national team.
Right.
Because, I mean, I'm not saying that they're going to get relegated by any means, but I think Leeds, I don't know. I mean, what does he decide?
I'm not sure what's going to happen.
What does he decide?
I tell you what, if I'm Weston McKennie, I'm not sticking around for that. Right? I mean, this is a loan deal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he'll return to loan. Juventus will sell him, and then he'll go to probably a slightly better mid-level club in one of these leagues. He's, Leeds is a struggle right now.
Sure.
And if they get relegated, I'm guessing. Well, he'll definitely go back to Juventus. I don't know what Tyler Adams will decide to do. Obviously, he's a full signing.
Yeah.
I'm torn because you want to see guys stick with a club and say we're going to fight to get back up there. But that said, I don't want to see guys' careers fall to the wayside because all of a sudden, ownership decides they're not going to invest in a team, and now you're sitting around holding, hand-holding for championship level players.
Right.
When you are on the cusp of being a truly, I won't say world class, but world class player.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tyler could be there. I think Weston's already there.
Oh, man.
And I think Brendan is getting there.
I think, and what's interesting about Leeds, God, are we talking about Leeds? Really? No. We're talking about U.S. men's
Leeds, United States of America.
there you go. Exactly. I think you're absolutely right. I think that, as far as McKinney's concerned, I think as far as Adams is concerned, I think they stay. I think they play season out. But I really do think Aronson's been coming off the bench lately. And it's like, you know what? Why not? Why don't I go and, play against what? We got Grenada away.
El Salvador,
El Salvador at home.
Yeah.
Why not hop on a flight and, get some reps in and do that type of thing? So I think the U.S. men's national team's in a good spot. I think that we're going to, and this is key, whoever we decide who will be our head coach officially, I think they have an advantage, kind of that whole, hey, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain type deal, because you can throw these young guys at people, and you may get a result or two. You may get, like with Colombia at home, 0-0 on a friendly. I think when our real guys get out there, though, I think it's game on, and I think we can really get this done.
I got one final USA question for you.
Oh God, here we go.
All right, hot take.
Okay.
All right. For the next U.S. men's national team coach to guide us into the World Cup.
Okay.
Do we go with recently sacked Jesse Marsch?
Okay.
Or do we take a chance on Thierry Henry, who has said he's somewhat interested in the position?
Oh, my God.
Gut feeling.
I gotta be honest. It's constant man crush Monday for me with Thierry Henry. I just the guy, his voice like this. I'm just like, oh.
Well, in that.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. I am going to play the politician, and I'm going to be like, you know what? I would be okay with either choice. Here's why. I think with Thierry Henry, I think you would have somebody who is going to push these guys to play European-style soccer. He's going to be like, you are fast, you are quick off the ball, so I need you guys to continue to play that. He's going to train. He's going to get them conditionally fit, and I think it's going to be awesome. Jesse Marsch literally is going to be Rambo. He's going to be John Rambo. He's going to be like, guys, look, we've all been here. We've all done. I like Jesse Marsch for that, because Jesse Marsch can have his team rise to the occasion for a season. And I think that's what we need. We need somebody, that can pump people up and that can get them pumped up. He is the consummate American football manager. And I think that he would make an incredible impact on the team as well. Pick your poison. Pick your poison, man.
Well, it was a trick question, and the answer is Jose Mourinho. So.
I wasn't going to say it because I don't know, dude. I'm just saying.
We need a manager who's experienced winning. And Jesse Marsch has coached low-level clubs and done well with them. And Thierry Henry does not have a great track record.
But is Mourinho going to – is he going to even I know he's like, oh, yeah, I'd like to maybe consider it. But is he just saying that? Because here's the thing.
How much money do we have?
I love Mourinho.
How much money do we have?
The golden one. I love him. But it would take a lot of coin to get him here.
Yeah, well.
A lot of coin, man. So, that's funny. That's a trick question. So, ladies and gentlemen, hey, I got a trick question for him, because guess what? We are now graduating to the Hey Aaron segment of the show. And in lieu of International Women's Day, which is today, ladies, you know what? Thank you so much for putting up with our bullshit. We appreciate you. We love you on the show. Yes, we are your biggest fans. I want to ask one question, my friend. I don't know how much time you've spent on the the Women's Super League or anything like that, checking it out. Talk about 2 or 3 players that have caught your eye this year, and I imagine there's going to be one because you mentioned her earlier, but 2 or 3 players that you're like, you know what, these guys, this is why you need to, and you know what, this is why you need to watch the Women's Super League.
Well, they've been honored recently, and I'm going to be red heavy here, but United are top of the Women's Super League, and Mary Earps was recently honored for her exploits at the World Cup, and she got up and shared a lot about mental health issues and what it takes to play at this level, and some of the self-doubt that happened. So I want to give a big shout out to her, both for her play on the field and her attitude off the field and how she's carrying herself. And then Ella Toone, she's really carried a lot of this over as well. And I think you'd have to look and say, Mary Earps, Ella Toone, Alessia Russo are really, much like Marcus Rashford, having come off, didn't have quite the same World Cup, but he played well at the World Cup, and he has carried that form into the club. And when you've got, a player like a Mary Earps, you saw her leadership during that Euro. You saw her skill. You saw Elatun and Alessia Russo come on, being largely used as substitutes, but having wonderful attitudes about that.
Absolutely.
And saying, I have a role to play, and when I get my opportunity, I'm going to take it. That back heel, that Alessia Russo back heel goal is still sick.
Did I make a mistake by using this as the Hey Aaron segment?
Well, look, I have not been following the league as closely as I'd like to, but I know that Sam Kerr is going to be the first woman on the cover of FIFA.
Yes.
That's absolutely awesome. We've got some really, really tremendous players around the world. Her name is spacing me right now, but the French woman that plays for Barcelona, that is the best women's player in the world right now.
Oh, wow.
Barcelona's still crushing it. And I think what's nice is we've got a competitive league heading into the World Cup in France.
Wow, yes.
And I think that's really what all the more you can ask for. I had concerns about what was going to happen in Qatar, and there's still, a lot to politically, discuss about that. But I have to agree with David Beckham. We saw players who were in form, hitting stride right as that World Cup happened. And I don't want to see leagues get broken up like that again.
Oh, no.
Oh, who's it?
No. Ah, damn it. We definitely need. Oh, no. We definitely need an intern.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm seeing all Spanish. Transfers. Oh,
hold on.
Wait.
I thought. Well, my apologies for not being better prepared for this one.
Oh, well, no. I sprung it on you, man. I sprung it on you. There you go.
But my point stands.
Yes.
I think we're seeing quality play, and that's really all you can ask for as you head into a World Cup. I hope players stay healthy.
Yes.
And if flights to Paris get cheap,
oh man,
we might be doing a remote broadcast sometime this summer, folks.
Hey, you know what? And what's funny is I found an airline that flies pretty cheap out of Chicago. So
there you go.
That'll work. That'll work. But ladies and gentlemen, Io especially. Thank you, Aaron, for the Hey Aaron segment. And this brings us to the end of our podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, listen. Once again, dude. It's always an honor. It's always my pleasure and honor to podcast with you, talk a little footy, and to come to this point in the show, to where it's Aaron's final thoughts, and you get to leave us with some final thoughts, dude. A lot of stuff going on in the world, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to hearing what you have to say, ladies and gentlemen. We'll take it easy, and we'll turn it over to Aaron for his final thoughts.
For any of you who know how this show began, you know that it was a couple people just want to hang out and have some drinks in the middle of probably the weirdest experience globally everybody's ever shared. And then it evolved into something more because it's really hard to stay quiet about things that you see that seem obviously wrong in the world, injustices, and need to be addressed. And while I was on vacation, I saw multiple things happening in places where sadly you sort of expect this to happen. But Tennessee and Florida and several other places seem to have declared war on transgenderism. Drag queen children's story hour for some reason, gender affirming care. I'm sorry, folks. I have a real problem with this, and there's a discussion to be had, but outlawing the existence of people, and also banning books. Welcome to Indiana, where we ban books and also have problem with transgender people.
Is this 1984?
So it feels more like 1954 at this point. This is not how we progress, folks, and there are legit discussions to be had about what is and is not appropriate in classrooms, but just outright saying that one group of people gets to decide what anyone else can do This type of authoritarian has to stop. And quite frankly, we've had far too many examples of how this can go wrong in our own lifetimes, in our parents' lifetimes, in our grandparents' lifetimes. Grandpa was the original Antifa, folks. He legit showed up and fucked up fascists. So if you've got a problem with that, hit me up and we'll have a discussion. But the reality is, if you want a better world, it isn't about being afraid of other people that you don't quite understand. It isn't about being afraid to let your children learn about the real history that has gone on in this country and around the world. And it's not about being afraid of books. And quite frankly, if you ban a book in a school, librarians around the world are just going to say, come get them for free. So you're going to lose this one like you lose them all. And what I want to say is there's a better way forward. I'm all about trying to meet people where they are and reaching out and building a better place. But this is just plain wrong to have happening, and I will fight against it with every fiber of my being. And I hope if you agree with me, you do the same. And if you don't, then let's reach out and have a legit civil discourse rather than telling one group of people they're just not allowed to speak or be in existence anymore. So that's what I got to say, folks. I love you. Love you all for tuning in. We will try to do this more often. Like I said, had a little bit of life, had a little bit of vacation, a lot of craziness going on. Evan's got a lot of heaviness going on at work as well.
Oh, man.
So, folks, hang in there with us. We'll try to do this a bit more often, and maybe we'll do another live chat while watching a game. Maybe we'll pick we'll pick a random game and just have bants with everybody. So, thanks for tuning in. Reminder, Saturday and Sunday at Chatham Tap Fisher's, 9:30 a.m. serving breakfast. Your lovely ladies will be hosting you and providing you with drinks. Treat them nice because one of us will probably be here. And shout out. Love you all. Take care.
Oh, we missed it by probably what's going to be 15 seconds. So those of you who join us on
sorry, Instagram.
On Instagram, hey, you know what? You're going to have to check us out on YouTube. Guys, listen, thank you so much for joining
YouTube,
the Red
Spotify,
and Blue Soccer Chat.
Anchor FM, Instagram if we can get there. Comment, like, subscribe, smash those buttons, get down with us. We'll see you, folks.